Hi, this is Max Harley, creator of Satellite. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Satellite for Debian-based systems and then basic usage. So just to start off, I'm using a DigitalOcean droplet with Ubuntu, so it should be easy to replicate this. I copied over the Satellite Debian package from the releases page and moved it over to this box. So to install it, all you need to do is run dpkg-i and then satellite. What this will do is copy over the binary, add some configuration, copy over a systemd unit file, and then create SSL keys. So by default, the server root is var www.html, and the default index is index.html. So just to serve a file, the easiest thing you can do, just create a file called with a content test as the index, and then I'll start the service. So I'll go over to my browser, load the page, and we can see test. So that's the most basic usage. So let's see what the server configuration for that was. So the server configuration is in etc satellite config yml, and like I said, we have the server root is var www.html. We're listening on port 443. Default index is index.html. Some extra options, we have log level. So right now I'm setting it to debug. There's 4 or 5 log levels depending on how granular you want to get. You can set the server header. So I have this right now as Apache 2.4.1, but you're free to set it to anything else. You can emulate different web servers pretty easily. The next options are the GeoIP path. So this is for country codes, which if you look at the wiki, you'll be able to see. And then just the SSL key path. So if you use Let's Encrypt or some sort of custom SSL key, you can just put the path in here and restart the service, and it'll use your own. So there's not a whole lot of configuration that really needs to be done in the server config. The real meat and potatoes is in the route config. So we'll go to the server root, and you see here we just have index.html. I'm going to create a page called the content test 2. How about just page 2? We'll be real creative. So now we have index.html and page 2. The configuration really happens in .info files. So all you have to do is create a file with the path name and then .info as the extension. This is a YAML file that just has filtering options, content to add, or ways of serving a file that can help you out in red team operations. So what I'll do for page 2 is set serve to 1. So what the serve directive says is serve the page once and then never serve it again. So we'll see how this works. With info files, it's always a good idea to restart the service, just because, for technical reasons, it's always a good idea to do that. So now when we request page 2, we can see our content turns into test2, and if we try to request it again, we get a 404. So this is the default 404 page. You can customize the 404 page in the server configuration, but what's neat is you can also customize the failure or the 404 in route specifically. So I'll show how that works. It's with a directive called onFailure. And onFailure can either be rendered, so you can either render a new page kind of in place, or you can redirect. So in this case, I'll just redirect to google.com. Again, always a good idea to refresh. And we've already requested this page once, so it's not going to serve it again, even though we restarted the service. The number of times something has been hit is persistent. So if we refresh the page, it should redirect us to Google, which it does. So that's the most basic usage. You can see how filtering works and some of these extra options that are not necessarily filtering, like onFailure works. There's way more options in the route configuration section on the wiki. I'll go over one other thing, which is proxying in JAW3. So for each of these, so one of the directives is proxy. So you have the ability to create an info file that has a proxy instead of serving a file. It's a bit hard to use that, but you are, for each of these proxies, you are able to use all of the filtering options. So if you only want, so one of them is, let's say, user agents. If you only want specific user agents to be able to proxy with a specific route, then you can always add in that directive or in that info file authorized user agents. What's a bit special about proxying is, is proxy.yml. So Satellite, we have a few examples in here of server routes that might, really good for learning how Satellite works. But if you put a proxy.yml file inside of your server route, it'll automatically pick it up. So you don't have to create things like a directory called S and then a file called this. You just have to specify the path that you want to proxy and then the server you want to proxy to. So in this case, whenever someone requests this path, it'll always redirect them or proxy them to this server and then on this server, whatever this path is. In this file, you can also add, in the same way as a normal info file, you can add filtering options. So if you want to be able to filter something, my favorite example is filtering based on JAW3 for proxies. So you can key your malware to have a certain JAW3 signature and then only allow JAW3 signatures through that proxy which match whatever JAW3 signature you specify. So I hope this is useful. If you have any issues or would like more clarification, which isn't really well explained in the wiki, please let me know and create an issue. I'd be happy to solve that. So thank you very much.